Parker's been very lucky to have been gifted a couple of new airbrushes lately, along with that upgrade kit for the Aventus from Gaahleri. This has changed his setup a bit. So we're going to take a moment today to talk about the airbrushes he uses in his workflow, what he uses them for, along with his compressor choice that allows him to keep all of these options handy at all times. So first of all, we're going to discuss his priming and varnishing options. Here we have the GHAD-39, Seeker, and a Mobius 0.3 which actually has a 0.5 needle in it, and all of these are from Gaahleri. You'll notice he's also switched all of these to have large volume cups for effective priming and varnishing. And it isn't something that's possible with every airbrush brand out there. This Mobius with a 0.5 needle is what he actually uses for priming. The needle size, reliable control, and big cup all make this airbrush effective for priming and reliably sprays his Panzer Grey primer with no need for thinning. He actually also uses this for spraying metallics. You don't ever really do super fine spraying with metallics anyway, and since metallics are often larger pigments, they can struggle sometimes to get through a 0.3 needle. So this 0.5 setup is the perfect solution for this too. Next is the GHAD-39, and this is also set up with a 0.5 needle and is primarily used for varnishing. You definitely can have one airbrush for both varnishing and priming, but the varnish can be quite stubborn, so he likes that he's able to have one of each. He often will also cycle through a priming, varnishing and grayscale shade on quite a lot of parts, so it's useful being able to switch between them. He's had this GHAD-39 for coming up about 3 years at this point, so it's very reliable for priming and varnishing. Gaahleri also recently sent us the Seeker, hoping it would be a suitable recommendation for beginners. It comes with a 0.3 and a 0.5 needle setup, so he tried out both. However, ultimately he just wasn't really happy with the performance. He felt he already had a 0.3 and a 0.5 that performed better. It's priced at just £50, so it's a low level price, but it just doesn't have good enough control to recommend to a beginner for general use. It has quite a high velocity, like quite a strong airflow, and this just isn't really something that you want for a general use airbrush. Really, it's just going to end up as a priming or varnishing airbrush and replace one of the two that we've already discussed when they start having issues. However, if you are looking for a priming or varnishing airbrush, this Seeker could be a really good choice. However, I will say that I usually see the GHAD-39 at a much lower price tag. However, I suppose there might be a chance that production on those may stop, as they'll likely want to push their new Seeker airbrush instead. If you are looking for a good, reliable, general use airbrush, Parker's recommendation is still going to be the Mobius. So with that, let's move on. So this is the Mobius 0.3. I apologise now because we are going to confuse you a bit here. You're probably wondering why we have a 0.3 setup in a 0.2 body when we clearly own a 0.3 body that we just showed you, except we put a 0.5 in that. Yeah, I know, sorry. It's to do with the order these airbrushes came to him, experimenting, and what he ended up deciding that he needed at the time. The 0.2 body comes with this MAC valve, which he wanted to be able to use with his 0.3 needle. This valve allows like an extra step of pressure control. So ignore that 0.2 marking. We are here to talk about the Mobius with a 0.3 needle. This is his main airbrush. This is what he grabs whenever he needs to do some general airbrushing. And his is set up with a crown cap, which allows him to be a little more precise when he wants to be, although this airbrush is less about the finer details. The notches on this crown cap also allow extra airflow around the nozzle, boosting the atomization process. This results in a finer spray with a smoother transitions, which is especially useful for soft shading and gentle gradients, which is vital to Parker's painting style. Another reason he likes this cap is because it prevents paint buildup, since the cutouts help to actively reduce paint buildup around the nozzle tip. Like we mentioned, the Mobius 0.3 is Parker's recommendation for your first airbrush. He's had this since they were released a couple of years back, and he does recommend them for beginners because they're reliable, easy to switch out caps and cups to meet your needs, good for learning airbrush control, but they're also very good airbrushes to learn about the maintenance of an airbrush. Learning to care for your airbrush is important for the longevity of it. He often says that even if you intend to get an airbrush at a much higher price tag, these Mobiuses are great to start out with and learn all of the basics before you get an expensive one. If you want to know a little bit about airbrush maintenance and some of the common issues you might face when airbrushing, we did do a video on that a long time ago. It's probably only got like 500 views, but I will drop a link in the description in case you want to check that out too. The Mobius's low price tag of around £65 means it's not ultra budget, but still cheap enough that it's not so devastating if you do accidentally ruin it. However, you shouldn't worry about that too much because parts for these airbrushes are very easily accessible from the Gaahleri website. The interchangeable cups makes it easier to get into for cleaning. The seals are accessible and easy to replace, and they also have a visible packing screw through this side cutout. He's diagnosed issues relating to packing screws for a couple of people on our Discord, and it being visible makes it so much easier for a beginner to diagnose themselves, since they will be able to physically see if paint is leaking. Overall, it's his go-to. It's responsive, it's reliable, and does exactly what he requires for this type of airbrush. Next up, let's talk about the Aventus. We obviously gave this airbrush its own video upon release, and I think a pretty fair assessment at the time. We discussed in that video how they made their own announcement regarding the lack of quality control that ended up leading to a bit of a lackluster release. Well, we received the upgrade kit, and Parker immediately got to swapping out the parts. It was a pretty generous kit containing various upgraded and corrected parts. This included needle and nozzle replacement in both sizes, with improved consistency and calibration, along with some other internal components to improve things like the trigger response. Once he'd swapped out the parts and put it to use, he was immediately surprised by how much the replacement parts transformed this airbrush. He found that the changes brought this airbrush to a standard much more in line with others at its price tag. And because of this, it has actually found a way into his regular setup. We mentioned before that this shape here is something Parker personally finds really comfortable to use. So he's glad he's able to achieve some fine detail and move this into his airbrush rotation. You'll notice he has a very small cup on here, and that is because he mostly uses it for ink glazing. Whilst it is for fine detail, the line isn't as sharp as some others in his collection, so it's perfect for diffuse shading like on the face or for applying makeup. Now we're going to talk about the evolution, since this goes along nicely with the Aventus airbrush. The upgrades to the Aventus led to a better airbrush that actually made him think of something more on the level of his evolution. It's also interesting to bring these two up near to each other, because people went pretty hard on Gaahleri for their lack of quality control upon the release of the Aventus. And I definitely saw some people not really offer much grace to their mistake, even when they owned up to it and offered refunds and replacements. Actually, way back when Parker first started getting into airbrushing more, he did originally buy a H&S Infinity. However, his was delivered with a mismatched needle and nozzle size. He was racking his brain, confused as to why he couldn't get it to work, and at the time having less experience with airbrushing, he couldn't tell what was causing the issue, and it was only when he took it to his local airbrush shop that they diagnosed the problem and were able to help him fix it. Anyway, I just think that little story is worth mentioning because every company does make mistakes. We've had quality control issues with resin we've received, printers, airbrushes, and it's just unfortunately something that happens every now and then. It doesn't exactly deserve a hate train or a full boycott. But then again, I think having very extremist views and being quite absolute is just quite a common part of society today, and that's a much bigger conversation we won't get into. So anyway, after that mess, he never really did quite take to his Infinity, and this evolution that he recently bought is his first return to H&S. Overall, he really likes it, and switching needle sizes can really make this airbrush really do everything that you need of it. So if you were looking to invest in just one decent airbrush, this is probably a pretty good option. However, Parker does personally like having many on the go that are each tailored to his workflow. So he has this evolution set up with a 0.2 needle and uses it for jobs slightly more precise than what he would use his Mobius for, but for when he also wants something a little sharper than what the Aventus offers. However, for the most precise and sharpest details, he was recently gifted the Richpen Phoenix 222B from our new friend Spaghetti Miniatures. If you haven't had the story of how this revival of an airbrush came to be, it's a cool little story, so do go check out Spaghetti's channel to hear more about it from the man himself. The minute he sprayed with this airbrush, he loved it and could really tell that the precision was unlike any others in his collection. You get a much more sharp and precise line, and it's a very well controlled spray. If you are looking for an airbrush for your tabletop miniatures, this is what you're going to want. Since Parker paints large scale a bit more often than he does minis, he uses this airbrush to paint in very small areas. It comes with a 0.2 needle, and the careful precise spray lets him easily block in solid colours in small areas. He also finds it quite comfortable to use, probably only second place to the Aventus. One thing he would probably want different about this airbrush, I got an Eris Disruptor. Oh, she's a good girl. Say hello to the camera. One thing he would probably want from this is the ability to swap out the cup. But like we mentioned before, it's just not something that all of the airbrushes do, so it's not really a big deal. Whilst we wrap up Parker's airbrush tour with the Richpen, I'm just going to once again recommend that you all go check out Spaghetti Miniatures channel. We get asked about Parker's setup a lot, and it's nice that you're all interested in his personal choice of tools. But do remember, these are all Parker's personal opinions. If you really want to dive into the facts and put some numbers to the performance of these airbrushes, Spaghetti Miniatures is going to have all you need to know. Now you know what airbrushes he uses, let's touch on his compressor setup. So for the longest time he had a Sparmax TC620, which he did always really like. However, since starting the Patreon a few months ago and now teaching monthly classes, it started to become a bit of a disturbance because it's not really the quietest compressor out there. Not the worst either, but not quiet enough. The sound would often make it through the recordings on lessons. So it was time to reassess. And ultimately, he landed it on this Gaahleri GTX-778. Now this is nearly double the price of his old compressor, but it is also double the performance. This has a nice large 6-litre capacity tank, and it is much quieter. Like, I truly can't believe how quiet this thing is. Much easier to work with when we're having to record so much of his painting. Parker's no longer being interrupted by his compressor when he's talking. It has a dual output, so that means Parker and I can both paint at the same time. In fact, this was another feature we were specifically looking for, as we are scheduling in a Twitch event really soon where Parker is going to teach me how to finally paint. So do drop us a follow on Twitch if you want to catch that. Maybe I'm a secret painting genius. It has a nice large 6-litre capacity and is much quieter. Like, I truly can't believe how quiet this compressor is. The strong airflow also allows him to power some pneumatic tools, and he's been enjoying his new pencil grinder too. If you do opt for this compressor yourself, be sure to read the manual for setup and properly apply the refrigeration oil. This compressor also goes perfectly with his new AirHub Pro that he treated himself to. This allows him to use one of his compressor outputs to attach the AirHub Pro, which can house 4 airbrushes itself, and allows him to individually control the air pressure for each airbrush. So he never needs to tinker with his main compressor air pressure. That generally stays at 35 psi. Each individual airbrush has independent pressure regulators, and using these valves, he changes to suit his needs for that particular airbrush. Being on his desk, they're really easy to adjust on the fly too. The second output from the main compressor is where he has his priming or varnishing airbrush hooked up to. And that concludes his airbrush and compressor tour. Hope this has been helpful or interesting, and as always, if you have any questions, please drop a comment below or come chat to us in Discord if you want to know some more. If you like this video, please do like, comment, subscribe. We have a mixture of discussion videos demonstrating printing and painting, as well as full model painting guides. Thank you all for watching, and a special thank you to all of our patrons on screen. We are so grateful for your support. We will catch you all in the next one.